Okay, so this is like the 1000th time that I've done this. I have the rope ready to kill myself with if indeed this doesn't work this time. This is a little basic tutorial on how to use Rockstar Editor. First things first, we want to record a video. We're going to use that with F1. Jiminy G, look at that. It's recording something. If we hit F1, it begins to record gameplay. As you can see, it's tick-tocking away. As soon as that rotation is done, one clip is done, and it will restart. It will start another clip. It'll just continuously record. There's also, if you hit F1 again, it stops the recording. If you want to, there's another way to record, that's F2, action replay. I don't use this a lot. I think it's very unreliable. But if you want to record like the last 20 to 30 seconds, it depends on really what's going on, use that. If you think something's cool or something funny is about to happen, you can use that. I don't know. Either way, I always use F1. It takes up a little bit more hard drive space, but you get every single second of gameplay as long as it isn't corrupt. So let's record something. So I hit F1. Let's record a scene so we can use it at the Rockstar Editor. There you go. No, you. There you go. There you go. Okay, so that scene is done. Now that that scene's done, it's only a few seconds. Let's hit F1. It stops the recording and it saves it. So now that we have that clip, let's go to the Rockstar Editor. You just hit escape, go over here, and let's enter Rockstar Editor. This is where everything starts. You could either create a new project, keep on working on projects that you're currently cooking up. Director mode, that's what I was just in. It's a single player thing. These are all the clips that you just took. Video galleries for finished projects, tutorials, a tutorial, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, let's start this up. Let's create a new project. Automatically names it Project 7. So everything right here is grayed out because we have nothing in our timeline, our project timeline. So let's add a clip to our timeline. As you can see right here, it shows all the clips that I have taken in the past. Like I think this is like maybe like a week's worth. I have no idea. I love this. I love to record stuff. Anyway, 568 clips. Jesus Christ. Either way, let's go ahead and choose this one. As you can see, it gives all types of information about this clip, size, length. So let's go into it. Okay, here is the actual timeline for this project. If you were to put more and more clips into this, more and more clips will just keep on going down. Okay, here we go. So let's edit this gosh darn motivated clip. Yep. Okay, so by itself, the camera is always going to be, by default, the camera is in game camera, meaning that the camera will always be looking like what it actually like when you recorded it. So same camera movements. Everything that you saw as you were playing the game, you'll see from here, except without the UI. The UI. So that's not really useful to us right now. I mean, you can keep it that way if you want to, but I don't want to. I want to have a little bit more of a cinematic experience. The way to do that is by different camera angles. You can control the camera angles by going to cameras, and as you see right here, the automatic default is game camera. So let's go to a different one. Let's go to see all these different camera types: present overhead, present left. And if you let the clip play, you'll see that it's always going to be to the left of your character. So let's go to the best camera type, in my opinion, and that's free camera. Why is it the best? Because if you go to edit camera, you are able to manipulate the camera in any which way you want. You can go right here. As you can see at the bottom, it tells you all the stuff you can do. You can zoom. You can make this thing go upside down. Sorry if I'm making you guys sick at all. But you can do anything that you want within the amount of space that they actually let you do it in. And I say that because I will let you see right now, there is a certain barrier in which you can actually move away from the character. Without mods, at least. I am doing this without the mods, without single player mods, because that's the way I learned. And I think if indeed you actually do get into this, and you want to make more types of videos like these, that limiting yourself a little bit is going to make your camera work and everything a little bit better once you actually do have more freedom out of this barrier. And also, if indeed you actually do go outside this barrier, the farther you go, the graphics begin to degrade and stuff like that, and everything starts looking like it belongs on a Nintendo 64 or something like that. I have my graphics pretty low right now because I usually do that as I'm editing, just because it runs things a little bit smoother. And also during combat, because I like to fight a lot and I want to make sure that I get the best FPS possible. Anyway, so I'm going to keep the camera angle right here. And if I let this clip play out, you'll see that the camera stays right here, where I told it to be. And as you can see right here, the little clip duration thing is going down. Oh, that poor guy. So let's say that I don't want to wait all that time for him to come out all the way over there and go over there. What you can do is go to the starter marker. You can kind of crop it down to where you actually want the clip to start. So it would start right there instead of everything. So you can't click over here anymore. You can also do that from the other side as well. Okay, so if indeed we let this run its course, and everything right here, let's go back to the action right there. It's like, okay, like it's pretty cool because we're able to see everything from over here. But say that you want to have the camera a little bit closer, or a different camera angle. How do you do that? I'll tell you right now. You hit M as in Mike, and what that will do, it will put down a marker. And what this marker will do, if you put down a marker and you position another camera angle, as soon as the duration of that clip goes to that marker, you will automatically switch to that camera angle. So let's start right here. Yeah, see, as soon as it gets to that marker, bam, automatically switched. So now that we know how to do different camera angles, let's put a few in. Hold on, okay. So we got one right here. Let's place one. That's butt, yeah. And then right here. Okay, so as soon as the time goes right there, boom, butt, and then right there, long shot. And you say, okay, that's pretty cool. I know how to do that now. So, by the way I'm deleting this is I'm actually left clicking on the markers, and then I'm hitting delete on my keyboard. Okay, so say that you actually, okay, different camera angles are cool, but I want the camera to move with my guy as he's moving down. So what I would do is that I would pick, let me see here, let's shorten this a little bit. I would pick where my guy begins to move down, and let's see here, I would put a marker right here. So this is where the starting camera is going to be, and if indeed I want the camera to move in the duration of the clip, I am going to turn on blend mode. There's two modes, linear and smooth. Smooth I always use because it makes it's a little bit how should I say? It's a little bit more not smooth, but it makes things a little bit more realistic, I suppose. Especially when you're using much more than just from point A to point B camera styles. Like it just strictly goes from point A to point B. Like that's the way it looks. The movements are just a little bit more realistic. So I would always say go with smooth, but then again, if you're playing around with this, do whatever you like, whatever looks good to you. Okay, So if I am going to, I want to tell the camera to, excuse me, hold on. Let's move this back. I want to tell the camera to, let's move this camera right here. So I want from this to there. So that means when I put on blend mode, it's going to tell the camera to move from here and blend all the way over to where this is. So let's see how it goes. Okay. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. Let me see here. If you move the marker, you can hold and left click, a left click and hold it down. You can move the marker to any which way you want. This one might actually keep him in frame a little bit better. Hold on. Oh, looks like we're gonna have to put it a little bit longer. There we go. There is where a lot of the tedious stuff comes into play when it comes to the Rockstar editor. If you want everything pitch perfect, you have to do those types of freaking gosh darn corrections. And by the time I'm done with a lot of my projects, a lot of my clips they look like this, like so many freaking markers, and it can become a headache after a while. But I really enjoy doing stuff like this, so I do it. So either way, blend mode, moving the camera. That's how to do it. This is where the starting camera is. This is where it ends. This is where it will blend from point A to point B. There are more advanced things to go into for other camera movements and stuff like that, but I'm not going to get into that. If indeed people want to do this later on, I will make another video. So let's see here. As you can see, there are other things that you can do. You can have the camera act like it's being held by someone that's looking a little bit drunk, but like a handheld cam. You can also do drunk. You can also do ground vibration. All this type of different things that you can do for the shaky cam. You can also move with the target. It'll move with the actual target. As you can see, there's right here. There's flexible. If indeed you put it to flexible, whenever the character turns, it will not turn with him. But if indeed you put it to rigid, anytime that the character moves, the camera will move along with his movements. So many variety of things that you can do with this editor, and it's a great tool. It's an awesome tool. I love using this. I love using this freaking gosh darn thing. Oh yeah. Although by the way, you also do not have to strictly maneuver the camera around only your guy. You can also move with another target like that. I'm moving along with this guy now. I don't do that a lot just because the camera movements are not very fluid at all, but it's good to know that it's there, depending on the situation. It's usually not too bad for like if you guys are in a car or something like that, but like walking doesn't look fluid at all. I'm trying to think of what else to put. Could also look at target. This one doesn't look very natural at all, but also like I said, it depends on what you want. Of course, the camera as soon as it gets to a different marker, every setting that you put on this marker is going to kick in. So the look at person, the follow person, and stuff like that has ceased and desisted as soon as you hit this marker. So different marker, different settings, if indeed you want it that way. If you want every marker to be the same, you have to start it with this right here. You have to start it with the very first marker. So if I put it to blend mode, smooth, and explosion or air turbulence, excuse me, every other marker that I put after that is going to have the same settings, and you would have to manually change them back to whatever you want after that. So it all depends on you on what you want at the very beginning. and you will have to manually just change stuff along the way if the scene calls for it. There's also filters that you can have on your video. All types of pretty cool stuff. I've seen a lot of people use these, look pretty cool. Fucking brightness, all that good stuff. You can make it. You could have this kind of zone in on your character. It's a lot of cool stuff in this editor. Freaking Rockstar was so smart in putting this in, because they're basically having their players promote their stuff. At the very start and the very end of the markers, you can put a transition, so it kind of like fades in like that. A lot of cool stuff, man. Trying to think of what else to put in here. I'm not quite sure what else to put. See, look at this. You can go everywhere. You can even go through. Yeah, look at that. Now I'm hiding. You can leave it here for the entirety of the video until your character gets too far away. But yeah, I think I have covered the basics. Okay, so let's see. Actually, I have not yet. At least for camera wise, I have. So let's see right here. So let's start from right here, and I want the camera to move right there. So as I said before, from start to finish, I will blend mode, smooth, boom. And I will shorten this all the way right here. So let's say that that's our scene. This is the entirety of the scene right here. What I will do now, actually what you should always be doing when you're doing this is hitting F5. Hitting F5 in the Rockstar editor automatically saves it, because if anything goes wrong and the game stops, you will have to do every little thing again. Jesus Christ, people are going offline, online. Okay, so now that we've saved it, we're going to exit by hitting escape. We're going to exit again. And you can see right here that you can add any type of any music that they give you in the actual game. You can put any radio stuff that you actually hear in the radio in-game, score track, all this good stuff. You can even add text if you'd like. I haven't really messed around with that because I usually use third-party software for this. You can save the project. But anyway, the biggest thing right here, we've already saved it. What if we want to export it? Exporting in and of itself, you make everything finalized, and then after that you upload it to YouTube or whatever. So let's do that now. Let me see here. You can choose what frame rate. By default, you can choose by what frame rate you want to use. Obviously, if you wanted to kind of make it look like a movie, 30 frames per second is usually a thing. A lot of people usually just go for 60 frames per second, depending on what you want. Bitrate is always high. I've never put it to low. So if indeed you export this, by default, it will export it and says, oh yeah, you've exported your thing now, okay? So let's act like we just exported it. So as soon as you export it, the way you upload it to YouTube is you go to your video gallery. I don't have any projects saved right now on this. I haven't exported anything, even though I have like 5 projects going on right now. You would go to video gallery, and then you would click on the finished project, and then it'll have an option saying upload to YouTube. You would do that. If indeed you actually have a YouTube account linked to your Grand Theft Auto thing, and then I think it would be done. There are other ways that I use to upload it to YouTube. I will not get into that right now, but hopefully, I don't know if this is going to be really helpful or not. I don't know. Hopefully, for some of you that just don't know I didn't know anything about the Rockstar editor. Hopefully this gives a little bit of insight. So, okay. Thanks for listening. Bye.